A while back, a gentleman from Cali hit me up. He would tell me his grandfather came from the 7 luminaries in Mexico, and he would share stories with him that went back generations. These stories are amazing. He would tell of tales from ETs to giants, but his most recent one talked about duendes. If you don't know what duendes are, they're little people. And the tales of these little people run deep into Mexican folklore. And the following is what his grandfather told him about them. He would explain that there are 3 types of duendes that inhabited Earth. The first type were the largest. They were around the same height as the average 7-year-old, so 3 to maybe 4 feet. They lived near wetlands and would resemble goblins. They weren't necessarily inherently good or evil. His grandfather would explain that once in a while, they would steal livestock from local farmers. Before we continue, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. But much to the farmer's surprise, just a short time later, they would receive something. It would be a barter. These duendes would later bring back baskets full of fruit. These fruits were extremely rare, and that's how they'd know it was from the duendes. They were the only ones who were able to attain them. They would also leave things like mushrooms that grew specially in the forests, or bread and cheese that nobody else knew how to make. And really, they were okay with it because they loved the stuff. So it would more or less become commonplace among the farmers when one of their livestock would disappear, they would wait for a gift. And they would know that it was this particular duendes based on the gift. So yes, they would steal, but they would pay it back later on. And there's another interesting story that goes along with these duendes. Apparently, one of the villages that they lived near had a girl who fell in love with one of them. And shortly after falling in love with one of these green duendes, she would disappear. Her father was devastated. He would gather the entire village to go looking for her. But unfortunately, she was nowhere to be found. Assuming she had lost her life, her father would grieve for weeks. Until one day, he heard a knock at the door. It was late, so he wasn't used to receiving guests at this particular time. Curious as to who it could be, he would get up and go open the door. As he opened the door to see what was out there, his eyes would widen. Sitting in front of him would be a pile of gold, unlike anything he has ever seen. He would instantly grin, knowing what it was about. The lore states that after his daughter had joined these duendes, the one she married was the king, making her the queen. And she, along with her king, would rule over this particular duendes community. They inhabited a beautiful underground city.